أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. Most of you heard the phrase American dream or American success story. That idea and belief has brought hundreds of thousands of people from all over the country to this land, including most of us sitting here. This is an idea that if you work hard, with determination, and you follow the rules, you can be successful. That success translates into worldly gains. It defines accumulation of wealth, fulfilling your aspiration, and prosperity for yourself and your families. This is the land of opportunity, they say, but it requires some prerequisites. You can't achieve those objects or fulfill your aspirations by sitting home. First of all, you have to have a desire and a determination that you want to do that. You want to be successful. You want to make money, to have a comfortable life for yourself, your families, and your children's. It also requires extreme hard work. The people who come here, they witness to that, how many hours they put it in, 14, 16, 18 hours. And that's the only way that you can achieve that success. And also, in this country, we have the opportunity to live, to exercise freedom and liberty. So the combination of all these factors make this American story a success. Some of them, unfortunately, only have dreams or the chasing their dreams, but majority of them, barring that they're fulfilling all their personal obligations, hard work, determination, they do get prosperity and a comfortable lifestyle. But both of these phrases relate to material success. There is another dream, and that is the dream of Ibadur Rahman. The servants of gracious God. And there is another success story, and that is the story of true believers. And Allah Ta'ala defines how to achieve that success by a true believer. The verses I had just recited, the translation is, successful indeed are the believers who are humble in their prayers and who shun all that which is vain, and who are prompt and regular in paying zakat, and who guard their chastity, except from their wives or what their right hand possess, for then they are not to be blamed. But those who seek anything beyond that are transgressors, and who are watchful of their trust and their covenants, and who are strict in observance of their prayers. These are heirs who will inherit paradise. They will abide therein forever. To achieve the American success story does not mean that you cannot achieve the story that God has here described for the believers. It does not mean that we lose our soul at the expense of our body. But unfortunately, that is the case. We are so immersed in these material possessions that we have forgotten God. We work 18 hours to make money, but we have hardly much time for prayers. Whenever we survey, 30 to 35% of us are observing prayers. They're living in big houses, driving fancy cars, have all the material facilities, but when it comes to prayers, somehow we don't have the time. We're not talking about coming to mosque and 5 congregational prayers. We are talking about just 5 daily prayers at home or at work or wherever we are. I think this is the way for the ungrateful, for all the bounties and favors that God has given us. That prosperity also breeds some kind of an arrogance. We have the money, we have an ego, and it makes us, a little bit snobbish. But Allah Ta'ala says here, who are humble in their prayers, He wants us humility and modesty. We're doing exactly opposite what God wanted us to do. Then God says, who are prompt and regular in paying zakat, spending in way of Allah. We make money, and then we count it, and then here comes the tax time. No evasion from them. You can't say, just like we say to financial secretary, okay, I'll think about tomorrow. That 15th of April, you have to pay 30, 25, 30, 35% upon your tax bracket to Uncle Sam. And I just wonder, we have no issue paying those 35% or 30% or whatever it is to Uncle Sam on regular basis. But some of us, or many of us, are reluctant to pay 6% or 10% for sake of Allah. Who has created us, who made those environments for our success. We have a lot of excuses, I can't speak any one of those people, but there's something to reflect upon. Is it fear? Is the fear of the government exceeds our fear of Allah? Or is the love of money exceeds our love for Allah? There is no other option. You can choose. There other no option. I cannot make any other excuse if I do that. That is the fact. We can hide it, we can keep quiet, but the reality is this. But at the same time, we claim that we love Allah. Then Allah Ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those are the people who is going, in his eyes, are going to be successful. They shun all what's vain. And if we look in our daily lives, how many vain things we are pursuing? Our activities at home, even though they are not sin, that's what we do, but still, we are doing it at the expense of our righteous deeds, they are pursuit of vain things. How much time we spend on internet or social media, for what? Are we gaining any spirituality? How many idols we are, worshiping? And most important is the money, is the material possessions. Either we are completely oblivious what God says about these things, or we just don't want to think about it or ignore it intentionally. Then God says here, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. And who are watchful of their trust and their covenants. Again, a contradiction, I see. When we do these worldly things, we write contract, we notarize them, we follow them to the teeth, because if we don't, we will be taken to the court. We will be punished. But the most important covenant for an Ahmadi is his covenant of Bai'at. And that covenant starts that I bear witness Allah Ta'ala. So we are bringing Allah Ta'ala to be our witness that I will fulfill my conditions of Bai'at, which I am taking at the hand of Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam. But honestly, if we reflect, are we fulfilling that covenant? Are we honoring that covenant as much as we honor any worldly agreement? Again, that's something we have to reflect upon. And as I said, we don't have to sacrifice our worldly gains to be righteous. We can make money and still follow the commandments of Allah Ta'ala. We can do all our worldly things and still take time to pray, to recite the Holy Quran, to read the writings of Prophet Messiah alayhi salam, or read his ahadith. You just heard the example of Abdul Rahman bin Auf. He was a wealthy man. He made a lot of money, but he spent. He probably was the only billionaire or millionaire who was given in this world a glad tidings of going to paradise. So it's no contradiction between the two. Allah Ta'ala created this world for believers, for all good things for believers. But the point is, why we are going against the will of God by not following His commandments. Why we are choosing only to be successful in this world and not successful hereafter. This success of this world will end, believe me. One day this reality, we all die. We leave behind our wealth, our portfolios, our big houses. The only thing we own is 6 by 4 feet of ground. And all those people who used to come to our houses, all those friends we cater and care and lavish parties, we're going to hardly be coming over to our graves to say a prayer. A new life will start for them, a new friend, a new group of people they can have parties with. And we will be history. But there is a life hereafter. And Allah Ta'ala describes both these people. Many places, but I am just choosing one. Those who choose the world, enjoy life here, and they think, oh, you live only once, you heard a lot of time. They are mistaken. There is a world after that. And they would be giving an answer. Allah Ta'ala talks about those people. وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ جَمًّا جَمًّا وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And you love wealth with exceeding love. You love wealth with exceeding love. And I'm going to skip the rest of the couple of verses. But then it says, on that day man will remember, يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّ لَهُ ذِكْرًا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ وَأَنَّ لَهُ ذِكْرًا. On that day man will remember, but of what avail shall that remembrance to him be? Too late. Be too late. And then that man will say, يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. He will say, oh, would that I had sent on some good works for my life here. He did not follow the prerequisite that God has written in this book to be a success, a spiritual success. يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. The words of so much regret. But again, it's too late. On the other hand, Allah Ta'ala describes for those people who succeed spiritually and follow His command, this would be the word of the person who would regret it. But contrary to that, at the same day, Allah Ta'ala would be calling to the other person who fulfilled His commandment and who would say, Ya ayyatuhal nafsul mutmainnatu arja'i ila rabbika radiyatan marziya fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati. O thou soul at peace, return to thy Lord, well pleased with Him, and He well pleased with thee. So enter thou among my chosen servants, and enter thou my garden. This verse, Fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati, is not only for hereafter. If we follow the God commandment, if we follow His wishes, if we live a life that He wants us to live, if we become true Ibadur Rahman, servants of that gracious God, this will be achieved in this life. We will be at peace with God, and He will be pleased with us. We don't have to experience that after death. We can experience here in this world. This is the highest stage of a spiritual development, it says, that God, the man, is well pleased with his Lord, and his Lord is well pleased with him. So there is some reflection that we need to do and see how we can change in our lifestyle. How can we thankful creation for all the favors that Allah Ta'ala has done to us. He gave us security and comfort, all the material possessions. At least we can thank Him for that. We follow His commands. We do what is obligated on a believer for our daily prayers, spending for sake of Allah, taking care of other people, having a high moral conduct, protect our chastity. And this is the secret of success, not the one just American success story. I end this with a speech of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani, Hazrat Musleh Maud, which he delivered 100 years ago on the first day of Jalsa Salana in 1925. It is published as Minhajut Talibin, an English translation of Way of the Seekers. I'll do it in Urdu first and then in English translation. Hazur said, Hazrat Musleh Maud, अब मैं हज़रत मसीह माऊद अलैहिस्सलाम की एक बात पर इस लेक्चर को ख़त्म करता हूँ। वो हज़रत मसीह माऊद अलैहिस्सलाम की ऐसी बात है जिस पे आपने दुख का इज़हार किया है और बताया है कि अगर हम नेक न बने तो हमारी गरज जो इस जमात के बनाने से है वो पूरी नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि इस सूरत में हमारी जमात खुदा के फ़ज़ल की वारिस नहीं बन सकती। इसलिए कोशिश करनी चाहिए कि हम इन अखलाक को पैदा करें जो हज़रत मसीह माऊद अलैहिस्सलाम ने हमारे लिए ज़रूरी करार दिए हैं। मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि वो दोस्त जिन्होंने मेरे इस साल के लेक्चरों के लिए नोट लिए हैं और जिन्होंने ये लेक्चर सुने हैं वो अमली तौर पर इन तरीक़ों को इस्तेमाल करेंगे ताकि हम दुनिया को दिखा सकें कि ज़ाहिरी अमाल में भी हमारी जमात के बराबर और कोई नहीं। सच बात तो ये है कि अगर हमारी जमात का हर एक शख्स औलिया अल्लाह में से ना हो तो दुनिया को निजात नहीं दिला सकती। हजूर फरमाते हैं, अगर हमारी जमात का हर एक शख्स औलिया अल्लाह में से ना हो तो दुनिया को निजात नहीं दिलाई जा सकती और हम दुनिया में कोई तगय्युर नहीं पैदा कर सकते। याद रखो, हमारा मुकाबला दुनिया की मौजूदा बदियों से ही नहीं बल्कि हमारा फ़र्ज़ ख़याल बद की रौ से मुकाबला करना भी है और हमें ख़यालात के इस दरिया का मुकाबला करना है जो हर तरफ लहरें मार रहा है। बस हमारी पोजीशन बहुत ही नाजुक है। मैं अहबाब से इल्तिजा करता हूँ कि अहबाब ऐसा ही बनने की कोशिश करें जैसा कि हज़रत मसीह माऊद अलैहिस्सलाम ने हमें बनाना चाहते थे। اب میں حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی دعا پہ اس لیکچر کو ختم کرتا ہوں اور خود بھی اس دعا میں شامل ہوتا ہوں. Then Hazrat Muslim Maud reads from the Prophet Messiah's writing. حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام فرماتے ہیں میں کیا کروں اور کہاں سے ایسے الفاظ لاؤں جو اس گروہ یعنی جماعت احمدیہ کے دلوں پہ کارگر ہو. خدایا مجھے ایسے الفاظ عطا فرما اور ایسی تقریریں الہام کر جو ان کے دلوں پر اپنا نور ڈالیں اور اپنی تریاقی خاصیت سے ان کے زہر کو دور کر دیں. میری جان اس شوق سے تڑپ رہی ہے کہ کبھی وہ دن ہو کہ اپنی جماعت میں بکثرت ایسے لوگ دیکھوں جنہوں نے در حقیقت جھوٹ چھوڑ دیا اور ایک سچے خدا سے عہد کر لیا اور ایک سچا عہد اپنے خدا سے کر لیا کہ وہ ہر ایک شر سے اپنی تئیں بچائیں گے اور تکبر سے جو تمام شرارتوں کی جڑ ہے بالکل دور جا پڑیں گے اور اپنے رب سے ڈرتے رہیں گے. دعا کرتا ہوں کہ جب تک مجھ میں دم زندگی ہے کیے جاؤں اور دعا یہی ہے کہ خدا تعالیٰ میری اس جماعت کے دلوں کو پاک کرے اور اپنی رحمت کا ہاتھ لمبا کر کے ان کے دل اپنی طرف پھیر دے اور تمام شرارتیں اور کینے ان کے دلوں سے اٹھا دے اور باہمی سچی محبت عطا کر دے. اور میں یقین رکھتا ہوں کہ یہ دعا قبول ہوگی اور خدا میری دعاؤں کو ضائع نہیں کرے گا. Then حضرت مسلم موعود says, حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام کی یہ دعا قبول ہوگی اور خدا تعالیٰ اسے ضائع نہیں کرے گا مگر تم سوچ لو تم اس کے مصداق بنو گے یا بعد میں آنے والے. اگر بعد میں آنے والوں کے حق میں قبول ہوگی تو پھر ہمیں کیا فائدہ. اس لیے میں کہتا ہوں کہ حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام کی دعا کو مدنظر کوشش کرو کہ ہم ہی اس کے مصداق ہوں اور اس نظارہ سے ہمیں ٹھنڈک پہنچے جو مسیح موعود نے کھینچا ہے. اس دعا کے بعد جلسہ ختم کرتا ہوں. اس دا انگلش ٹرانسلیشن. حضرت مسلم موعود رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ in his last speech, in first speech of 1925 Jalsa Salana, at the end he says, I shall conclude this address with a quotation from the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam. In this quotation, which I shall presently read, he had given expression to anguish and concern that if we fail to become truly virtuous, we shall betray the purpose for which this community has been founded. Therefore, and we would not become heirs to divine grace. We should therefore strive to develop the qualities that have been enjoined upon us by the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam. I hope that those friends who have listened to this address and taken down notes will put all these methods of self-improvement into practice so that we might demonstrate to the world that in our conduct also we continue unmatched. The truth is that unless every one of us is saintly in his conduct, every one of us is saintly in his conduct, we cannot bring about a spiritual revolution, and the salvation of the world cannot be achieved. We should remember that we have to fight not only prevalent evils, but also the strong current evil thinking. We should remember that we have fight not only prevalent evils, but also the strong current of evil thinking. We have to fight the swollen river of evil thinking that is surging everywhere. Ours is a very delicate situation. I beg you all, Hazrat Muslim was saying, I beg you all to try to become what the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam wants us to become. Now I proceed to read about the prayers of the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam, in which I also join. The Prophet Messiah alayhi salam says, "What shall I do? Where shall I find the words that should move the hearts of this people, Ahmadiyya community? Lord, vouchsafe to me the words and reveal to me the speech which could illuminate their hearts and like an antidote rid them of their poison. My soul is all fevered with eagerness to witness the day when I should find that my community is largely composed of people who have truly forsaken lying and who have entered into a sincere covenant with their God to safeguard themselves against every evil and shall withdraw altogether from arrogance, which is the root of all evil, and shall pass their lives in the fear of their Lord. I pray, and I shall continue to do so to the last breath of my life. Allah may purify the hearts of this community of mine, that He may extend His hand of mercy and turn their hearts in His direction. May He lift all mischief and rancor from their hearts and grant them the true and genuine love for one another. I am convinced that my prayers will be accepted and the God will not permit my supplication to be in vain." Hazrat Muslim Maud continue, "This prayer of the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam shall certainly be accepted and will not prove to be in vain, but reflect whether it find fulfillment in us or in those who will come later. Of what use will it be to us if it is fulfilled in favor of only those who come later? I urge you, therefore, to keep in mind this prayer of the Prophet Messiah alayhi salam and strive your utmost that it may be fulfilled in our own persons and that we may be comforted with viewing the spectacle that Prophet Messiah alayhi salam desired to witness." With this, we close the Jalsa. We should be thankful that Allah Ta'ala gave us the opportunity to attend the Jalsa Salana and participate in the activities. May Allah enable us to benefit from all the speeches and all the conversation we had here and reflect upon them, especially all those words of Prophet Messiah alayhi salam and his khulafa, which has been said, and you listen. Please give a minute or two, go home and reflect upon them. We cannot be complacent. We cannot come every year and go with the same results. There has to be some movement. We got to wake up, all of us. We got to change our habits. We need a lot of time reflection. This world is short. And God forbid, on the judgment day, we shouldn't say, "Qaddamtu la hayati." Gosh, last week I have done something. We would do dua now. Please remember, the first foremost prayers should be that the unity of Allah Ta'ala is established over this earth. So be it peace, the people recognize their Creator. We should continue to send the root. Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has Hazrat Khalifatul Masih been emphasizing, stressing us to increase Durood Sharif in daily life. We also should pray for the mission of our Masih Maud alayhi salam, that may we be enabled, he may enable us to follow the teaching of Prophet Messiah alayhi salam in our own lives and then spread it to the rest of the people. We should pray for Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, for his long and healthy life, and most importantly, pray that we should be obedient and loyal to Khilafat-e-Ahmadiyya, and our worldly desires should not come in the way to obey him. As Hazrat Khalifatul Masih has been reminding us over and over again about the persecution and condition of Ahmadis in Pakistan and some other countries, we cannot imagine in the comfort of our homes what they are going through. It's the extreme situation. And unless we constantly pray for them, as Hazrat Khalifatul Masih has directed us, this is the only way we can attract Allah's mercy. Also should pray for the people in Palestine. May God remove all their difficulties and save them. We should also pray for our martyrs, the enemies of Ahmadis are getting more aggressive, more vocal, and many lives have been lost. Pray for their families. May God give them strength. We should also pray for those prisoners who have been imprisoned in Pakistan and other countries just because they are Ahmadis. We should pray for all the people who have different ailments and have some financial other difficulties. We should pray also for the missionaries. May Allah enable them to follow the directives of Khalifatul Masih to serve the Jamaat to the best of their abilities. Now we'll do dua. Please join me in there. Ameen. Before we adjourn, have some numbers. The attendance, total attendance this year is 9,713, which is about 130 more than last year. Women are 4,739 and men are 4,974. International guests are 430 from 22 countries. Non-Ahmadi guests 293. Volunteers 750. MTA and online viewers 30,427 from USA, Canada, UK, Belgium, and Germany. Now we adjourn. Jazakallah, and may God bless you, protect you wherever you go. Fi aman Allah.